supine, okay? And we're going to go through.
Which way? This way?
Yeah, with your head down there.
Okay. Let me get ready.
Okay, you get ready. Okay.
You put my name tag in the room, right?
Yes, I thought you
Did I
did.
do what?
You put my name tag in the room.
Oh yeah, it's in the room.
Okay.
Did you start?
Okay, so then if you can get in the middle, yep, because we're going to have to. Okay, so back to talking about key points of control. So she's supine, so then we need to move her from supine. So then the next position from supine is what?
Side?
Okay, we can do side. Side would be midway. So then,
Wouldn't it be prone?
yes. But we can stop halfway. We can stop inside.
So is it the
Okay.
opposite
I was
of
just
whatever,
taking it
like
slow.
supine would be prone?
No, this is the linear progression. Supine to prone. Okay, so then we're going to use key points of control. Now remember, when we're rolling, first kids learn how to what first? What type of rolling?
Log roll.
Like, yeah.
The
not-
log roll, right? As a unit versus separated. Now, usually as adults, go ahead and show us how you roll to your side.
Like as an adult?
Yeah, just as you move down.
Like you
Like
roll
normally
over.
Okay, you see how she moves her trunk first and her legs come over? That's where she's dissociating her top and her bottom half. Most kids do not do that initially. So go ahead and lay back on your back. Okay, so then we want to use our key points of control, which are what?
The shoulders and the hips.
Shoulders and hips, right? So I'm going to put her arm here, okay? And I'm going to have her bring her arm this way, and I'm going to bring her shoulders and her hips this way, okay? Now, if I wanted to support her in this position, I can use different things. I can have a wedge, right? Behind her, right? Behind her back to support her so she can lean against it if she needed some support. It could be against a couch, it could be against the wall. I could use a bolster or a rolled up pillow, right? I can use a bolster or a rolled up pillow behind her back to
That
support
wouldn't
her.
roll?
Well, this would, but if I used it as a pillow, I'm
Oh,
saying.
okay.
But I can use a half a wedge that won't roll, right? Half of a bolster. Does that make sense? Okay. So this is how you can support this position. I can also use my body as the practitioner.
What my knee?
Well, if you're in sideline, we're going to try to get you up on that elbow. So you're up. So if I'm going to bring her up, I'm going to support the hips, come up, and support her on the shoulder this way, into sideline this way.
Can you do over? So we can get a better angle.
So go back out. Okay. So I can have her come. I'm going to just support her shoulder and the hips, right? Shoulders and hips. Those are the two key points of control. Going to come up and just bend your elbow. Yep. You can
Oh.
rest on your elbow on the mat.
Oh.
Yeah, just like that. And I can use my body too. Okay. And so we can still play with an activity here with this hand. Okay. And I can facilitate, like we were saying, I can facilitate her internal and external obliques, right, as well as her abdominals, while also supporting her hips and her shoulder. Okay?
So you're using your legs to support her?
Yeah, she's just leaning against my body.
Okay.
So in those slides, when it's talking about these positions, when it says caregiver or practitioner's body, that's what I'm showing you, is how you can use your body to provide support. Okay? So then the next one, so as we're going from supine though, it goes to prone, right? So we keep rolling her over, okay, into prone. Okay, so then, okay, so she's in prone, right? And so, so some things that we can do in prone, we can have her prone over the ball, right? And we said that we could use that to facilitate her trunk muscles, right? Like I said, butt down, head up. We can also, if we want her, and she can't support herself on her arms yet, we can have her going prone on a wedge like this. And they have different sizes of wedges. This is like just a couple inches. They do have bigger wedges, okay? But we can put this under her, Okay, and she can lay over it to where now we can have an activity
Oh, wow.
and she's supported. Okay, so we can use a wedge and we can increase the step of the wedge, right? The more for more so that she has to use more of her muscles. Okay, if it being lower, she has more support, right? If we increase that wedge, she has to use more of her own muscles, okay, to support. Is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so. Okay, we could do this with a bolster if we needed to, but anyway, now she's too big for this, but we can also have the child, the baby, lay on the lap. No, you can't lay on my lap, Ray. But we can have baby laying prone on our lap too, and do the same facilitation techniques that we would, with the hips, right? With the spine, so we can still do that if it's a baby or a child.
Could bouncing them on your lap help as well? Like if you kind of give them a little bounce?
A
Stimulation.
little bit
Yeah,
of
would that be
vibratory
stimulation?
sense. Yeah, that'll give them some sensory feedback. Okay, so that's a way to support prone. So then, what's the next position from prone?
No,
Side
we did.
Oh, quadra.
No,
Quadruped.
quadruped.
Yeah.
Oh, I did it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
I didn't
So-
even know what it was, and I was.
so we go supine, prone, then we get her into quadruped.
Quadruped.
Now, so we can do the same thing with quadruped. We could use a bolster, which since she's an adult, this wouldn't work. But for a kid, you can imagine. I don't have a bolster big enough for adults, but with a kid, we can put a bolster to support, the trunk if we needed to.
Oh, because they'll be like this.
'Cause they're a lot
gonna
smaller.
be lower, and so we do have bigger bolsters, but we don't. We can also use the practitioner's body.
Wow.
Okay, so
I thought you were about to like.
Oh my gosh.
so I can use my knee. I can put my knee up like this or down to support her body over my knee, right? I can have her coming up on my knee to provide a little bit of support, just like I would use a bolster, but I can use my own body. Okay, I can use my body to support her like this as well. Okay, so she can lean against my body.
What about her elbows? Because there's only one of us. So
Well-
how could we support both elbows, or do we just need
You
to support
can,
one?
you don't want to be able to support one,
Okay.
but I can support her elbows
The
with my
weaker
body
side?
like this. Yeah. Okay.
It's like knees, kind of like right here.
So, do you see how I'm doing that with my leg here? Okay. So I can facilitate. So go ahead and go ahead and lay prone again. Okay. So then we're gonna have her go up into prone. So sometimes I may have to cue her, and I may have to facilitate her into going quadruped by bringing her legs up under her and having her feet, her arms push up, bringing her hips up. I may have to lift her hips up and bring her body back. Okay? So then we go from quadruped to what?
Kneeling.
Leg kneel. Or
The short kneeling?
They're
sit kneel.
We can have her come back into kneeling, into short kneeling.
Short kneel. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I can help facilitate her to come back into short kneeling like this, right? And I can use a bolster, or I can use myself to help prop her up. I can prop her against a wall, right? In short kneeling like this, so that her back's supported. Okay, so you have to think about what's around you in the environment, what you can use.
Okay.
Okay, we can do, for kids, not for her, but for kids, we can do short kneeling on the ball if we wanted to. Okay, but then we really want to transition her then from short kneeling, because we wouldn't go from short kneeling to tall kneeling, right? We want to go to sitting. Okay, so then where are we going to transition her now from short kneeling? Which sitting position makes sense?
With her legs up?
Would it?
Long sitting?
I don't know.
Okay.
No,
We
it would be
talked-
W sitting.
No,
No,
no.
You don't W sit. W sit is no.
Yeah, it's not appropriate.
So it would be the side sit.
The side sitting because it has the most
More
stability.
space and support, that's
So then we just have to actually cue her. You know, with our hands, we can just have her put her arm here, and then have her bring her butt off of her legs, and we could just make sure that her legs are not under her. But now she's side sitting. Okay. So now side sitting, I can support her with my body. I can be over on this arm if I need to, with my leg here along her side to prop her up. I can use a bolster like this. Here, move this arm out a little bit. I can use a bolster to cue her, right? To come up, or I can use a round bolster.
Oh, that's comfortable.
Okay. Is that comfy?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So there's different ways that we can support side sitting. Okay. Now, so then now what sitting do we go to?
Long.
We go to long sitting. So then we're going to facilitate her moving her legs out in front of her, right? Like this. Now, one thing we want the child to do, of course, is to come up and sit up, not be slumped over, like, right, with low tone. And we said we wanted them to be in an anterior pelvic tilt, right?
Right.
Okay. So one way that we can facilitate that, besides using our body to help them come up, right? We can use the practitioner's body, help support them like this, right? And pull them back, right? And facilitate the rectus spinae muscles, right? We can also facilitate here at the abdomen and the abdomen and the hip, right? By pushing and trying to facilitate the abdomen with our with the internal and external obliques as well as the rectus abdominis muscles with my fingers. Okay, so I can do that, but on a kid I can do that because they're smaller than an adult. So, but the other way we can do that is using a wedge. So, now, so then what we can do is if we put the wedge and have her sit on this end, it's going to cause, look, when I sit here on this tall wedge, it makes me want to sit upright because I'm going down, so my pelvis it's bringing my pelvis into anterior tilt, and so I'm going to want to bring my body back. So I can have her sit on a wedge and put her in good alignment. So try this. Okay. Lift up your butt. There we go. There. Now feel that. You feel that? How it makes you want to sit up straight? Because you're going down this way, so it's going to make you want to come up. Unless you have high tone. This is in the case of a low tone kid, right? If you have high tone, it's going to encourage her to keep going back.
So would you,
Right.
would you want
Turn
it
it
the
the other
opposite
way?
way?
You could, it might not. A wedge might not be appropriate for someone who has high tone.
Gotcha.
It's more appropriate for someone who has low tone.
So what
okay.
would you do for someone who has
Because
high
if
tone?
you switched it around, if she had high tone, and she's already bringing herself back, it's going to want to push her back anyway. So it wouldn't help. This is more for low tone. So what would you do for someone with high tone? Again, you're going to facilitate the abs. You can use a hand massager to provide some vibration. You can do facilitation with your fingers to try to stimulate those muscles.
While the person's just sitting on a regular mat. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But like using a bolster or a wedge or something would not be beneficial. Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
You may need, because she might have high enough tone where she's going to want to come back, you may have to have her sitting against a wall or something solid or against your body, because when she's pushing, she'll fall back. So I'll have to either use my body or position her against the back, the flat part of the couch, right? That you can